Daniel Harrison looked out the viewport of the UES horizon at the massive space station ahead. Nexus Station glittered like a jewel against the blackness of space, home to the Galactic Council that governed over 200 alien species. After decades of distant observation, the aliens had finally contacted Earth 6 months ago. Now Daniel was the first human ambassador to the stars. "Nervous?" asked Lisa, touching his shoulder gently. His wife's presence calmed him as always. As one of Earth's leading xenobiologists, Lisa had earned her place on this mission beyond just being the ambassador's spouse. "A little," Daniel admitted. "Wouldn't you be? The fate of our entire species might depend on what happens in the next few days." Lisa smiled. "You've negotiated peace between nations that hated each other for centuries. You can handle a few aliens." From behind them, Samantha Wright cleared her throat. The head of security for the diplomatic mission looked uncomfortable in her formal uniform, instead of her usual tactical gear. "Ambassador, the captain says we're cleared to dock in 20 minutes. The welcome committee is already assembled. Any updates on the reception we can expect?" Daniel asked. Kevin Mitchell, their cultural liaison, looked up from his tablet. "Mixed signals, sir. The Tyrellians and Ashtari delegates sent formal welcomes. The Vrelkai, well, they didn't send anything." Daniel nodded. The Vrelkai were a militaristic species that held significant power in the Council. From the briefing materials, they seemed to value strength above all else. "Remember," he told his team of 12 humans, "we represent not just the United States, but all of Earth. We need to show unity and strength, but also openness to new ideas and cultures." The docking procedure went smoothly. When the airlock opened, Daniel stepped forward to meet a group of 5 aliens. Their guide, a tall blue-skinned humanoid named Ilara, belonged to the Ashtari species. "Ambassador Harrison," she said in perfect English, "welcome to Nexus Station. The Council awaits your arrival." As they walked through the station's wide corridors, Daniel noticed how other aliens stopped to stare at the humans. Some looked curious, others seemed fearful, and a few displayed what Daniel recognized as disgust, despite their alien features. "Is it normal for new species to get this much attention?" Daniel asked Ilara quietly. "It has been nearly 50 cycles since a new species joined the Council," she explained, "and never one with such interesting potential as humans." Their quarters were luxurious by Earth standards. After settling in, Daniel met with his team. "First impressions?" he asked. "They're treating us like celebrities," said Lisa. "I got access to their biological database, and they've been studying us for longer than they admitted officially." Samantha frowned. "Security is everywhere, but subtle. I counted at least 20 armed guards along our route, disguised as maintenance workers or civilians." Kevin looked troubled. "The station's information network is buzzing about us. Not all of it friendly. The Vrelkai delegation has been pushing for something called containment protocol regarding Earth." Daniel absorbed this information silently. His instincts told him something wasn't right, but diplomacy required patience. The next morning, Daniel stood before the full Galactic Council, representatives from 200 species seated in a vast circular chamber. Most were humanoid, but others defied easy description. "Distinguished representatives," Daniel began, "I bring greetings from Earth." From the Vrelkai section, a tall, reptilian figure watched with cold eyes. High Commander Zex Troll had spent decades arguing against contact with humans. Now they were here, spreading their dangerous ideas of equality and individual rights. As the humans spoke of cooperation and mutual growth, Zex Troll made a subtle gesture to an aide. The plan was already in motion. Soon, this human problem would be solved permanently, and the natural order of the galaxy would be preserved. Daniel finished his speech to polite applause, unaware that his time among the stars would be tragically short. Lisa Harrison spent hours each day in the Council's Biological Research Center. The vast database contained information on every known species in the galaxy. She was supposed to be studying alien biology to help Earth prepare for new diseases. Instead, she found something disturbing. "Daniel, look at this," she said one evening in their quarters. She showed him her tablet screen. The Vrelkai have been pushing for Earth to be classified as a Level 5 containment world for over 50 years. Daniel frowned. What does that mean? It means they wanted Earth completely isolated, with no contact allowed. According to these records, they believe humans are an evolutionary threat. Daniel rubbed his tired eyes. That explains their coldness during the meetings. But why would they see us as a threat? We're barely space-capable compared to them. It's not about our technology, Lisa explained. It's about our adaptability. Humans evolve and adapt faster than most species here. We learn quickly, we're resourceful, and we're determined. The Vrelkai see these as dangerous traits. Meanwhile, Kevin Mitchell was making friends with some of the station's information specialists. Over drinks in the station's common area, he heard troubling rumors. "There have been other dangerous species before," said Jala, a four-armed technician with purple skin. "They were invited to join the council, just like you. Then they disappeared." "Disappeared?" Kevin asked. "What do you mean?" Jala lowered all four voices. Their planets were quarantined. Some say they were even sterilized. The official records claim they had aggressive expansion plans that threatened galactic peace. Kevin carefully kept his face neutral while his heart raced. How many species? 3 in the last 1,000 years. None of them as adaptable as humans, from what I hear. Samantha Wright's security team had been mapping the station and monitoring communications. She reported directly to Daniel. "The Vrelkai have been meeting privately with several other species," she said. "We can't access their secure channels, but they're definitely planning something." Daniel nodded. "We need allies. The Tyrellians seem interested in trade opportunities, and the Ashtari have been supportive of our inclusion." The next few days were critical. Daniel worked tirelessly, meeting with representatives from dozens of species. Many were curious about Earth and humans. Some even seemed excited about the new perspectives humans could bring. The Tyrellian trade minister, a short, stocky alien with golden scales, was particularly interested in Earth's art and culture. "Your species creates so much. Music, paintings, stories. We find this fascinating," he told Daniel. "We would welcome trade agreements with Earth." The Ashtari Philosopher Council also supported humans. "Your philosophical diversity is remarkable," said Elder Thulvek. "Most species share one dominant worldview. Humans have hundreds. This brings valuable perspective." But the Vrelkai and their allies remained hostile. During formal council sessions, they questioned human motives at every turn. "Why does Earth maintain military forces if you claim to come in peace?" demanded Sub-Commander Krell, Zextral's deputy. "The same reason the Vrelkai do," Daniel replied calmly. "Self-defense and security. We have no expansionist agenda." After 2 weeks of meetings, Daniel was scheduled to participate in a ceremonial acceptance into probationary council membership. The ritual would formally begin Earth's integration into galactic society. "Something doesn't feel right," Samantha told Daniel as they prepared. "Security patterns have changed today. There are fewer Ashtari guards and more Vrelkai." "I've heard whispers too," Kevin added. "Some delegates have been told to stay away from today's ceremony." Daniel considered postponing but decided against it. "If we show fear now, we'll lose everything we've gained. The majority of the council supports us. We need to trust that." Lisa squeezed his hand. "Just be careful." Daniel nodded and straightened his formal diplomatic uniform. "Always." As they left their quarters, none of them noticed the small surveillance drone following them, transmitting their every word to High Commander Zextral's private chambers, where the final details of the plan were being confirmed. The Grand Council chamber was more crowded than usual. Hundreds of alien delegates filled the circular room, their voices creating a low hum of excitement. Today was supposed to be historic. the formal acceptance of humanity into the Galactic Council's probationary membership. Daniel and his team entered through the main doors. The human delegation was small compared to others, just Daniel, Lisa, Samantha, Kevin, and 4 security personnel. "Something's wrong," Samantha whispered. "Where are the Ashtari guards?" Daniel noticed it too. The usual blue uniform security had been replaced by Vrelkai soldiers. He caught sight of Elder Tholvek, their Ashtari ally, looking worried from across the chamber. "Stay close," Daniel told his team. "Be ready for anything." The council elder, an ancient being from a species called the Morathi, raised his 6-fingered hands for silence. The chamber grew quiet. "Today we welcome representatives of Earth to begin their probationary period," the elder announced. "Ambassador Harrison will now take the oath of peaceful cooperation." Daniel stepped forward to the central platform. This was the moment they had worked toward, the first step in humanity joining the galactic community. Suddenly, a harsh voice cut through the silence. "I challenge this proceeding." High Commander Zextrol strode onto the platform, flanked by armed Vrelkai soldiers, his reptilian eyes fixed on Daniel with open hatred. "The human species cannot be trusted," Zextrol announced. "We have evidence of their true intentions." Before Daniel could respond, large screens around the chamber lit up. They showed edited recordings of private conversations between the human delegation. Words taken out of context made it seem like Earth was planning military expansion. "These are manipulated recordings," Daniel protested. "This is not the full conversation." Zextrol ignored him. "I invoke the ancient right of species protection," he declared. "The full council must vote now on containment measures for Earth." Chaos erupted in the chamber. Some delegates shouted support for the humans, others called for Earth to be quarantined immediately. Samantha tried to reach Daniel, but Vrelkai soldiers blocked her path. "Ambassador," she called, drawing her diplomatic sidearm. "No weapons," Daniel ordered. "We won't give them an excuse." The council elder struggled to maintain order. "This is highly irregular, Commander Zextrol. The proper procedure." "Procedure?" Zextrol laughed. "While we debate procedure, these humans plan our downfall. I have more evidence." The screen showed Earth military exercises, nuclear tests from decades ago, and violent historical events, all without context. "Look at their history of violence, their weapons, their division and conflict." Zextrol turned to the assembled delegates. "The humans cannot be allowed to spread their chaos to the stars." Several delegates from species allied with the Vrelkai rose in support. Others looked uncertain. Daniel tried to speak, but his microphone was cut off. Across the room, he saw Lisa being held back by Vrelkai guards. Their eyes met briefly, hers wide with fear. "I call for the ancient judgment," Zextrol announced. The chamber went silent. Many delegates looked shocked. "The ancient judgment has not been used in 1,000 years, the council elder protested. "It is barbaric." "It is our right under council law," Zextrol insisted. "When a species threatens the galactic order, we may judge them through their representative." More Vrelkai soldiers entered the chamber, surrounding the human delegation. Samantha and her security team were quickly disarmed and restrained. "Daniel Harrison of Earth," Zextrol's voice boomed across the chamber. "You stand accused of representing a species that threatens galactic peace. The judgment is fire." Now Daniel understood. This had been planned from the beginning. The invitation, the diplomatic talks, all leading to this moment. "You can kill me," Daniel said loudly, finding his voice despite his fear. "But humanity will not be stopped by this treachery." Vrelkai soldiers grabbed Daniel and dragged him toward a metal chamber that had risen from the floor. The chamber had transparent walls. Everyone would see what happened inside. "This is murder," Lisa screamed, fighting against her captors. "He represents billions of innocent people." Daniel was thrown into the chamber. As the door sealed shut, he saw Zextrol activate a control panel. Gas filled the chamber, then ignited with a flash. As flames engulfed him, Daniel stood tall. His final words, broadcast across all Council communications, echoed through space toward Earth. Humanity will not forget. Humanity will not forgive. But humanity will survive. The message took 3 days to reach Earth. 3 days during which Lisa Harrison, Samantha Wright, and Kevin Mitchell were held prisoner aboard the UES Horizon. The Vrelkai had disabled their communications but allowed them to live. They wanted witnesses to return to Earth with the recording of Daniel's execution. On the 4th day, they were released. The UES Horizon departed Nexus Station with its surviving crew, carrying the terrible news home. On Earth, the broadcast of Daniel Harrison's execution was shown on every screen in every nation. People watched in horrified silence as their ambassador burned alive, his final words echoing across the planet. In Washington, D.C., President Olivia Carter sat in the Oval Office, her face grim as the recording ended. Around her stood the Joint Chiefs of Staff, the Secretary of State, and other key advisors. They thought this would frighten us into submission, President Carter said quietly. They don't understand humans at all. She stood and walked to the window, looking out at the White House lawn where a crowd had gathered. Similar scenes were happening in capitals around the world. Prepare an emergency session of the United Nations, she told her chief of staff. Today, 3 hours later, President Carter addressed the largest gathering of world leaders in history. Many attended in person, others by secure video. For once, national differences seemed small compared to the threat from beyond Earth. The execution of Ambassador Daniel Harrison was not just an attack on the United States, President Carter declared. It was an attack on all of humanity. The Galactic Council, led by the Vrelkai species, has shown their true intentions toward Earth. They fear us. They want to contain us, and they are willing to murder our representatives to achieve that goal. The chamber was silent. Leaders who had been enemies just days before now listened as one. I propose the formation of a unified Earth Defense Force, combining the military resources of all nations. We face an enemy with advanced technology and hundreds of worlds. We must stand together, or we will fall together. The vote was unanimous. For the first time in human history, the nations of Earth united completely. Lisa Harrison arrived back on Earth a week later. Despite her grief, she immediately went to work with military leaders, sharing everything she had learned about Council technology and weaknesses. Their ships use a form of faster-than-light travel that requires precise calculations, she explained to Admiral Joseph Reyes, the newly appointed commander of Earth's Space Forces. If those calculations are disrupted, their ships become vulnerable. Samantha Wright joined Earth's new military intelligence division, using her first-hand knowledge of Vrelkai tactics and Council security systems. Kevin Mitchell worked with diplomatic teams, identifying potential allies among the Council species who had opposed Daniel's execution. Science and technology centers around the world focused on a single goal: preparing Earth for war. Old weapons were modified with new insights from alien technology. New weapons were designed specifically to target Vrelkai weaknesses. Admiral Reyes stood in the massive underground facility in Nevada, where Earth's first true warships were being built. How soon can they be ready? He asked Dr. Alan Whitman, the lead scientist. 6 months for the first fleet, Dr. Whitman replied. We're adapting existing spacecraft and building new ones with the insights from Lisa Harrison's data. President Carter approved Operation Firestorm, a strategic plan to strike back at the Vrelkai. The plan included both military actions and diplomatic outreach to potential allies within the Council. General Patricia Alvarez, in charge of ground forces, prepared troops for possible alien environments. We don't know where this war will take us, she told her officers, but we will be ready for any world, any gravity, any atmosphere. As Earth prepared, the Galactic Council argued. Many species condemned the execution, but few were willing to stand against the powerful Vrelkai. They believed humans would be too primitive to pose a serious threat. High Commander Zextrol sent a message to Earth demanding surrender and acceptance of permanent quarantine status. The response was a single line. "We will not forget. We will not forgive. We will survive." 6 months after Daniel Harrison's death, Earth was ready. The people were united. The fleet was prepared. The soldiers were trained. The Vrelkai and their allies had no idea what was coming. 2 months into Earth's war preparations, Lisa Harrison received a strange message on her secure terminal. The code was alien but matched patterns she had studied at Nexus Station. Someone from the Galactic Council was trying to contact Earth. Lisa immediately alerted Admiral Reyes. Within an hour, they had assembled a team to decode the message. "It's from the Ashtari," Lisa said finally. "Elder Thulvex specifically. He wants to help us." Admiral Reyes looked skeptical. "How do we know it's not a trap?" "The message includes technical specs for Vrelkai defense systems," Lisa explained, "and a warning about a planned scouting mission to our solar system." They'd brought the information to President Carter, who made the decision to respond cautiously. A secure communication channel was established, hidden from Vrelkai detection systems. 3 days later, Elder Thulvex sent detailed defense codes for several Vrelkai military bases. "Many Council species disagree with what happened to your ambassador." The message read, "Some of us are willing to help." More communications followed. The Turellians, interested in Earth's trade potential, offered technical knowledge about Council ships. 2 other species, the insect-like Zithri and the aquatic Medusans, also reached out with offers of assistance. But the most surprising ally came a month later. A small stealth ship entered the solar system, avoiding Earth's new defense grid. When challenged, it transmitted a simple message: defector seeking asylum. The ship contained Kirifal, a Vrelkai scientist opposed to her species' militarism. She brought with her detailed plans for Vrelkai weapons systems and shield technology. "Why are you helping us?" Admiral Reyes asked during her debriefing. Kirival's reptilian face showed what humans later learned was the Vrelkai expression of shame. "What happened to your ambassador was dishonorable. High Commander Zextral has led our people away from our true values. Many Vrelkai disagree with his actions but fear speaking out." With Kirival's help, Earth's scientists made rapid progress. Dr. Alan Whitman led teams working around the clock to adapt alien technology to human ships. "The Vrelkai believe their technology is too advanced for us to use," Kirival explained. "They underestimate human adaptability." President Carter held weekly meetings with the military and scientific leadership. During one such meeting, Dr. Whitman delivered exciting news. "We've successfully integrated Vrelkai shield technology with our ships," he announced, "and we've improved it. Their shields are designed for sustained energy attacks. We've modified ours to also withstand kinetic impacts." Admiral Reyes nodded in approval. "The Vrelkai rely heavily on energy weapons. They rarely use physical projectiles. This will give us an advantage." Meanwhile, Lisa Harrison made another discovery in the data provided by their alien allies. The Vrelkai have been lying to the Council for decades. They've been secretly building military bases in neutral territories, preparing for expansion. This information was shared with sympathetic Council species through secure channels. The Vrelkai's political position began to weaken as evidence of their violations of Council law emerged. On Earth, the first fleet of warships was completed, 10 vessels, built or retrofitted with alien technology, ready for combat in deep space. Each carried weapon systems specifically designed to target Vrelkai weaknesses. Admiral Reyes stood on the bridge of the flagship, UES Vengeance, as final preparations were made. The ship had originally been a civilian space station, converted into a massive battleship. "Status report," he ordered. "All systems operational, Admiral," replied Captain Frank Powell. "The fleet is ready." In the science lab aboard the Vengeance, Lisa worked with Kirival to finalize targeting systems. General Alvarez's ground forces trained in simulated alien environments, preparing for possible planetary assaults. At Galactic Council headquarters, the Vrelkai struggled to maintain control. Several species had officially condemned Daniel's execution, and rumors of human military preparations spread. High Commander Zextrol dismissed these concerns. "The humans are primitives," he told his allies. "They cannot possibly threaten us. Our technology is centuries beyond theirs." The Ashtari representative spoke up during a council session. "Perhaps we should reconsider our approach to Earth. Open diplomatic channels again." Zextrol laughed. "Diplomacy failed. The humans must be contained. If they refuse quarantine, we will have no choice but to sterilize their world." Back on Earth, final preparations were complete. President Carter addressed the combined forces one last time. "We did not choose this war," she said, "but we will finish it. Operation Firestorm begins tomorrow. May God be with you all." Throughout the solar system, Earth ships prepared to depart. For the first time, humans would travel faster than light, using adapted alien technology. Their destination: 3 key Vrelkai military installations, simultaneously. Admiral Reyes looked at the final tactical display. "The Vrelkai expect us to be defensive, to protect Earth. They won't expect us to strike first, or to have FTL capability." Lisa Harrison thought of her husband. 6 months had passed since she watched him die. Tomorrow, his killers would learn that humanity was not to be underestimated. The human fleet entered faster than light travel simultaneously. 10 warships disappeared from Earth orbit and reappeared near 3 separate Vrelkai military installations. The operation had begun. Admiral Reyes commanded the main attack force aboard the UES Vengeance. 3 ships approached Keldor Station, the Vrelkai's largest weapons development facility. "Maintain stealth approach," Admiral Reyes ordered. "Hold position just outside their sensor range." Captain Powell nodded. "Stealth systems functioning perfectly, sir. They have no idea we're here." On the tactical display, Admiral Reyes watched as the other 2 attack groups reached their targets, a Vrelkai shipyard and a military command center. Each group consisted of 3 ships, with 1 ship remaining near Earth as defense. "All groups in position," reported Communications Officer Linda Garcia. "Awaiting your command." Admiral Reyes took a deep breath. This was the moment that would change humanity's place in the galaxy forever. "Commence Operation Firestorm," he ordered. "All ships, attack pattern Alpha." Across 3 star systems, human warships dropped their stealth fields and accelerated toward their targets. The Vrelkai defenses reacted slowly, not expecting any attack, especially not from humans. At Keldor Station, alarms blared as human ships appeared on sensors. Vrelkai commanders rushed to battle stations, confused and unprepared. "Impossible," shouted the Vrelkai station commander. "How did humans get here? How do they have faster-than-light capability?" By the time Vrelkai weapon systems came online, the human ships had already launched their first attack. Missiles designed with Kirival's knowledge penetrated Vrelkai shields with ease. "Direct hits on all primary targets," reported Weapons Officer Steve Johnson aboard the Vengeance. "Their shield generators are damaged. Missile batteries 2 and 3 ready for second wave." The Vrelkai attempted to launch fighter ships, but coordinated strikes from the human fleet disabled their launch bays before most could deploy. Similar scenes played out at the other 2 targets. The element of surprise gave the human forces a critical advantage. Years of Vrelkai military superiority had led to complacency. Meanwhile, General Alvarez led diplomatic military teams to contact Council species who had opposed Daniel's execution. Using the secure communication channels established by their allies, they reached out to potential supporters. "The Vrelkai have violated Council law for decades," General Alvarez explained during a secret meeting with representatives from 17 species. "We can provide evidence of their illegal military expansion. We ask only for neutrality in this conflict." Many agreed immediately. Some even offered active support, providing intelligence or supplies. The Ashtari, led by Elder Thelvek, publicly condemned the Vrelkai actions against Earth. The battle at Keldor Station lasted just 4 hours. When it ended, the station's weapons development labs were destroyed, its defenses disabled, and its communication systems offline. Minimal casualties on both sides, reported Captain Powell. Most Vrelkai personnel evacuated to the habitat rings as instructed. Admiral Reyes nodded with satisfaction. We didn't come to slaughter them. We came to show our strength and eliminate their military advantage. Reports from the other attack groups showed similar success. The shipyard was disabled with half-built warships destroyed. The command center's communications and weapons were offline, though the facility itself remained intact. The Vrelkai High Command on their homeworld reacted with shock and rage. High Commander Zextrol called an emergency council session, demanding united action against the human aggression. But the political landscape had shifted. Evidence of Vrelkai violations of council law had been shared widely. Many species now viewed the humans as justified in their response to Daniel's execution. The humans have shown remarkable restraint, noted the Tyrellian representative. They could have destroyed those facilities completely, killing everyone aboard. Instead, they disabled military capabilities while minimizing loss of life. The Vrelkai found themselves increasingly isolated. Several former allies withdrew support, unwilling to face human retaliation. As the human fleet regrouped after their successful strikes, Admiral Reyes received new intelligence. High Commander Zextrol had retreated to his personal command station in orbit around the Vrelkai homeworld. Set course for the Vrelkai system, Admiral Reyes ordered. It's time to deliver our terms directly to the one responsible for Ambassador Harrison's death. 3 days later, the UES Vengeance dropped out of faster-than-light travel near Zextrol's command station. 4 other human ships appeared moments later, surrounding the station. Open a channel, Admiral Reyes commanded. On the main view screen, High Commander Zextrol's reptilian face appeared, showing a mix of rage and disbelief. High Commander, Admiral Reyes said calmly, "You executed our ambassador by fire to show your power. We have now demonstrated ours. You have 2 choices: surrender yourself for trial under council law, or face the same judgment you gave Ambassador Harrison." Zextrol hissed with fury. "You primitive creatures dare to threaten me. The Vrelkai will never surrender." Admiral Reyes nodded slowly. "We thought you might say that. Check your sensors, Commander. Notice anything interesting about our ship's positions." As Zextrol looked at his tactical display, he finally understood. The human ships had surrounded his station in exactly the same pattern as the ritual execution chamber where Daniel Harrison had died. High Commander Zextrol refused to surrender. His personal guard tried to fight, but they were no match for Earth's new weapons. After a brief battle, the Vrelkai command station was captured intact, with Zextrol taken prisoner. He was transported to the UES Vengeance for security. News of Zextrol's capture spread quickly through Council space. The Vrelkai military, now without clear leadership, responded with desperate attacks on Earth's newly established colonies in nearby star systems. The conflict escalated. 3 months after the first human strikes, a major battle took place near Alpha Centauri, Earth's closest neighboring star. The human colony there, just 1 year old, came under attack from a Vrelkai armada. Captain Ryan Nelson commanded the defense with just 4 human ships against 12 Vrelkai warships. The battle seemed hopeless. "We're outnumbered 3-1, said his first officer, Helen Cruz. "Numbers aren't everything," Captain Nelson replied. "The Vrelkai fight by the book. We don't." Using tactics no alien would consider, Nelson positioned his ships inside the system's asteroid belt. The Vrelkai followed, confident in their superior numbers. What they didn't know was that the humans had placed hundreds of small, powerful explosives throughout the asteroid field. As the Vrelkai ships entered the field, Nelson gave the order, "Detonate the charges." The explosion sent thousands of asteroid fragments flying in all directions. The Vrelkai shields, designed to stop energy weapons, failed against the kinetic impacts. 4 enemy ships were disabled immediately. While the Vrelkai were confused, Nelson's ships emerged from hiding places and attacked from multiple directions. The battle lasted 6 hours. When it ended, the human fleet had lost one ship, but the Vrelkai armada was completely defeated. News of the victory at Alpha Centauri spread across human space and throughout the Galactic Council. Species that had been neutral began to consider alliances with Earth. The Vrelkai's reputation for military supremacy was crumbling. Back on Earth, Lisa Harrison made another important discovery. Working with Dr. Whitman and Kirival, she analyzed human DNA using advanced alien technology. "This is why the Vrelkai feared us," Lisa explained to President Carter during an emergency meeting. "Human DNA has potential the Vrelkai recognized. We adapt faster than any known species." Dr. Whitman continued the explanation. "And there's more. Humans have dormant genetic markers for abilities the Vrelkai call psionic potential. With time and the right environmental triggers, humans might develop abilities like telepathy or telekinesis." President Carter looked surprised. "Is this certain?" "The data is clear," Kirival confirmed. "My species has spent centuries studying genetics throughout the galaxy. The Vrelkai leadership recognized human potential and saw it as a threat to their dominance." This discovery explained the Vrelkai's determination to contain or eliminate humanity before these abilities could manifest. It also raised new questions about humanity's future development. Meanwhile, the Galactic Council continued to fracture. Some species called for peace negotiations with humans. Others, still aligned with the Vrelkai, demanded human extermination. The Ashtari proposed a compromise, a special council session with human representatives present, where all grievances could be addressed. After careful consideration, President Carter agreed to send a delegation, but not to Nexus Station. The meeting would take place on neutral territory. The conflict continued on multiple fronts. Human ships, now numbering over 30, engaged Vrelkai forces throughout Council space. Earth's colonies established defensive systems, and human diplomats worked to secure more allies. Back aboard the UES Vengeance, Admiral Reyes interrogated High Commander Zextral. "Why did you fear us so much?" Reyes asked. "We only wanted peaceful relations." Zextral's reptilian features showed contempt. "You humans spread like a disease. Your ideas of equality and individual rights threaten the natural order. Some species are meant to rule, others to serve. And the Vrelkai believe they should rule. We have ruled for 1,000 years, Zextral hissed, until your kind appeared." Reyes leaned closer. "You made a mistake when you killed Daniel Harrison. You thought it would frighten us. Instead, it united us." For the first time, uncertainty showed in Zextral's eyes. 6 months into the conflict, Lisa Harrison addressed the United Nations Security Council. Her time aboard the UES Vengeance, studying captured Vrelkai technology and working with alien allies, had given her unique insights. "The Vrelkai are losing support," she reported. 17 former Council species now openly support Earth. More remain neutral. The balance of power is shifting. General Alvarez presented the military situation. "We now control access to 3 key transit points for faster-than-light travel. Vrelkai supply lines are stretched thin. Their military was designed for quick victories and shows weakness in sustained conflict." President Carter considered the reports. 2 years had passed since her husband's execution. Earth had transformed in ways no one could have imagined. Humanity had united, developed advanced technology, and established itself as a galactic power. "It's time for the next phase," she announced. "Operation Final Justice. We take the fight to Nexus Station itself." 2 years after Daniel Harrison's execution, the human fleet gathered for the final battle. 50 warships, many built with technology that had not existed when the conflict began, prepared to attack Nexus Station. President Carter insisted on joining the assault. She now stood on the bridge of the UES Vengeance alongside Admiral Reyes. "The fleet is ready," Admiral Reyes reported. "Our allies have confirmed that the Vrelkai defenders are in position." President Carter nodded. "Begin the operation." The human fleet, joined by ships from 17 former Council species, jumped to faster-than-light travel. When they appeared near Nexus Station, they found a heavily defended fortress. Over 100 Vrelkai ships formed a protective ring around the massive space station. "Multiple enemy ships detected," announced Captain Powell. "Defensive systems at maximum." The battle began immediately. Human ships, using tactics developed over 2 years of war, broke through the Vrelkai lines. Their alien allies targeted specific weaknesses in the station's defenses. On the station itself, chaos erupted. Many council species had remained neutral, continuing their work while the conflict raged. Now they rushed to evacuation points as alarms blared. 6 hours into the battle, human forces had secured 3 of the station's 7 sections. The remaining Vrelkai defenders retreated to the Central Council chamber. President Carter led the final assault team personally, against the advice of her security detail. Admiral Rice, Lisa Harrison, and General Alvarez accompanied her. "This ends where it began," President Carter said as they approached the council chamber, in the same room where they murdered Daniel. When the doors opened, they found 30 Vrelkai leaders surrounded by their guards. The remaining council members watched from their seats, uncertain which side would prevail. "Surrender," President Carter demanded. "Your war is lost." The senior Vrelkai leader snarled. "We would rather die than submit to humans." "That can be arranged," Admiral Rice replied coldly. "But we didn't come here for more death." President Carter stepped forward. "I offer these terms: justice for those who ordered Ambassador Harrison's execution, recognition of human sovereignty, and reformation of the Council with new principles of self-determination for all species." Murmurs spread through the chamber. Many Council species had suffered under Vrelkai dominance for generations. The idea of reform appealed to them. One by one, Council representatives stood in support of the human turns. The Vrelkai, seeing they were outnumbered and abandoned by former allies, finally surrendered. The architects of Daniel Harrison's execution were arrested for crimes against sentient beings. In a final judgment that surprised everyone, they were not executed. "We will not burn you alive, as you did to our ambassador," President Carter announced. "Instead, you will live among humans as cultural liaisons. You will learn about the species you feared enough to murder. This is your sentence." 5 years passed. Earth continued to develop its technology and expand to new worlds. The reformed Galactic Assembly, as it was now called, operated on principles of equality and cooperation. On the 5th anniversary of Daniel Harrison's execution, his widow Lisa stood before the Assembly as Earth's new ambassador. The chamber was silent as she approached the podium where her husband had once stood. "5 years ago, in this room, my husband was burned alive," she began. "He came in peace. He was met with fire. Humanity responded with the full measure of our determination." The delegates listened intently. Many were new representatives of species that had overthrown Vrelkai influence in their governments. "Today, I stand before you not seeking revenge, but offering partnership," Lisa continued. "Humans have shown what we can do in war. Now let us show what we can do in peace." She extended her hand in the formal greeting gesture. "We offer a hand in peace once more. But never forget that this hand can become a fist." The assembly erupted in applause. Even the Vrelkai representatives, now from a reformed government that had overthrown the military regime, joined in the response. Later that day, Lisa visited the memorial that had been built where Daniel died. A simple stone marker with his name and final words: "Humanity will not forget. Humanity will not forgive. But humanity will survive." She placed her hand on the cool stone. "We did more than survive, Daniel," she whispered. "We thrived." Admiral Rice, now Supreme Commander of Earth's Defense Forces, joined her. "He would be proud of what we've accomplished," he said quietly. Lisa nodded. The Vrelkai thought they were ending a threat when they killed him. Instead, they created exactly what they feared most: a united humanity that wouldn't be stopped. Beyond the memorial windows, ships from dozens of species moved around Nexus Station. Earth vessels, instantly recognizable by their distinctive design, were among the most numerous. "What do you think happens next?" Admiral Rice asked. "Now that we've secured our place here." Lisa smiled. "Daniel always said humanity's greatest strength wasn't our technology or our military. It was our diversity of thought, our creativity, our ability to imagine better futures and then build them." She looked out at the stars, at the galaxy that had once seemed so far away and was now humanity's neighborhood. "I think we're just getting started."